Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Wednesday evening meditation. Once again, I'm delighted to be here with you. I am Reverend Robin Nashak. I am the pastor of the Institute for Spiritual Development and bringing you our Wednesday evening meditation from my home in Washington, D.C. And really just glad that you're all able to be here and join us online and continue to support just taking a few moments in the stillness each week to breathe, to relax, and maybe to even take a little journey within that meditation to some place that you might have not been before within yourself. And we're starting a new tradition. We've been doing it for the last several months, and that is taking the third Thursday of the month and using a different set of cards than I usually do to guide our meditation. And this is really just to begin expanding our idea about spirit and the cosmos and space and extraterrestrial beings, spirit or otherwise. And so we use this beautiful set of cards called contact cards. And here's the book. Oh, I didn't mirrored. Here are the cards. I'm going to get the mirror right for you guys. Hold on just 1 second. We have it there. I don't think I can have both ways there. All right, I'm going to leave it like this for now, but you can see the cards. We're going to look at the cards more closely as we draw them and explore what they have to say for us. So, this is how we do this. I shuffle the cards in front of you so that you can see me doing so. And then when you can hold your hands up to put your energy toward the cards, whatever you feel you can do to add your energy to the cards. And then I will draw the top card because you can all see me draw it. And this is on behalf of all of us. And I want to make sure that you know that I'm just picking the one on the top that you've all added your energy to and not kind of going in the center of the card to pull my own intuitive card. So this is a card that represents all of us as long as you're directing your energy toward me. Once we draw the card, I usually read a little bit about the card and then we go into meditation. But tonight I'm going to ask when we draw the card, because this set of cards includes these beautiful stories accompanying the cards. They're really little short stories that serve as fables or allegories for our spiritual journey. So I'm going to invite you to sit back and relax and listen to the story as well, and perhaps even allow the reading of the story to begin to take yourself into that meditative space. So let's start, shall we? I don't profess to be a shuffler, but I'm going to move them around, and you'll be able to hold your hands up. Did I drop one? You'll be able to hold your hands up if you just add your energy however you want. Either just imagine yourself sending it through your third eye or through your hands, or maybe you want to blow it as a kiss. However you want to send me that energy so that we can have all of our energies attached to the cards. And this is whether you are watching this in real time. And of course, if you are watching this in real time on YouTube, please remember to hit like and subscribe to this meditation so that you can continue to receive notifications about when we do these and our services and other wonderful things online at ISD through YouTube. All right. We're going to draw the top card, guys. Then we're going to learn a little bit more about it. Our top card is, you can see me pulling right from the top. Ah, interesting. The card, again, it's backwards, is ships. Now, this set of cards has different suits to it, And I'm going to explain to you what the suit of ships means when we talk about it, and then what the card means. So it's ships and research. Ships and research. And so I'm going to lay the card down. I've got another camera set so that you can actually look at the card while you are meditating and while I'm reading from the book about ships. So I'm going to ask you to now get comfortable. Lie down. You're at home tonight. You don't have to worry about staying awake. Get yourself as comfortable as possible. Make sure that you are having your back straight and that you have your hands gently resting at your sides, palms up. And just for the first part of this, before we begin to meditate, just relax. This is story time now. This is the time for you to just go with it, listen to the words, and then pay attention to what you feel as you hear the story that goes with this card, to the feelings, to the synchronicities that you might hear as I read, to the issues in your life that you feel might be being addressed as you read this for the message, because those feelings, those responses to the story are what are going to take you deeper into meditation, deeper into you this evening. So I'm going to put up the screen that has both me and the card. Ships, there we go. Now it's right side up. And I'm asking you now just to relax. And if you want to open your eyes, crack open your eyes. If you want to close them for a while, then open them. Or if you want to stare at the card as I read, I will leave that up to you while we read the story. And first, we're going to read about the suit of ships and what they mean in this deck. All right. The suit of cards is ships. This is what they're about. Certainly, the most well-recognized symbol of the entire extraterrestrial phenomenon, UFOs, are one kind or another, have been reported by multitudes of people throughout recorded history. Some of the designs in this system are based on photographic evidence or eyewitness accounts, while a few ships are extrapolations based on the energy concepts they represent. The energy dynamic of the ships is connected to movement, to journeys, and processes within our consciousness. So we've drawn the ships. We are talking about a journey. We're talking about movement tonight. What does that mean for you? Are you going on a journey physically or emotionally or spiritually? And how is that journey moving you? To where are you going? From where are you going? These are all the things that you can think about as we explore this card a little more deeply and listen to our story. And our card is research. I can find it. All right, here we go. It's always something. The professor chuckled to himself. He was pretty thin, even for a being of his species, because he never stopped running. Up and down, back and forth, from bridge to science station, the wizened tutor was never in one part of the ship for too long. New data coming in from that star, an unclassified plant from that world, an unusual weather pattern forming a giant gas giant planet. There was just so much to learn. And I'm supposed to have time to teach, he muttered as he scurried over to a bank of information analyzers. I can barely keep up with the discoveries sent back by the explorer ships, and yet they want me to train the apprentice data compilers as well. The elder academician glanced at the ship's chronometer and clapped his hands in delight. He hurried from the lab with a hasty nod to his fellow professors and locked himself in the room aboard the research ship where he could find a moment's solace: the library. Banks and banks of gleaming crystalline holocubes, each of which stored more than 10 billion bits of information, lined the walls near the viewing booths. The professor nestled into a soundproof chamber and popped his favorite cube into the image projection slot. He was immediately surrounded by a seemingly solid and realistic countryside setting. Tall trees rustled in the breeze, the sound of their leaves mingling with the rhythmic crashing of the waves from an inviting beach. The professor loved these peaceful moments, and in spite of the crusty exterior he presented to his colleagues and students, they truly loved his work as well. The universe was such a marvel of organized information that one could spend millions of lifetimes learning the smallest fraction of it. Unexpectedly, a small figure began to walk up the beach in the professor's holographic projection. All at once, it turned and headed right for him. Computer, there were no people in this recording before, the professor protested. Hi, Professor, the young man called. Apprentice, what are you doing here? Retorted the professor. Oh, I found a way to write myself into the program. It's time for class, and the other students bet me I couldn't find a way in. Looks like they lost. The professor laughed. The old pedagogue had taught somebody something after all. He shook his head and left the library, running down the ship's corridor. It's always something, he chuckled to himself as he slid into the lab, the faces of his friends and apprentices smiling in anticipation of their mentor's wisdom. So before we explore what the book has to say about it, think about this. We've got a research ship. We're going somewhere. We have to find out more about where we're going, right? Or more about what we need to go or to be where we're going. So this is the time to begin to gather all that we need to begin this journey, to move forward in our lives. It doesn't have to be a lot, but it is the time to sit quietly or to reach out looking for the information that we need to make this spiritual journey. So it's about educating ourselves, finding out what we don't know, finding out what we don't know that we don't know. This can be a very exciting time because we may have an idea of where or what our journey is. But the very act of researching this journey and everything associated with it has the opportunity or the possibility of opening us up to a slightly different path or a completely different path, new path, or prepare us fully for the one that we have been anticipating making. So this is our time. And when we go into meditation tonight, I'm going to really ask that you reflect on the area in your life that is that space of movement, one that you know you've chosen to make right now. It's a journey that you've elected to make, or perhaps it's one that's been floating in your mind as a possibility. But tonight, as we meditate, we're going to claim that space, claim that movement, and we're going to begin doing what we need to do, taking a stock, assessing, and then planning this journey for ourselves. And so, what the book says about this card, which you can add to what we've been talking about, the research ship in the card, is the card that deals with the education and application of knowledge. When we have spent time gathering and analyzing information, we look for avenues through which to express our newly found insights and to pass our discoveries on to others to adapt from multitudinous uses. This card instructs us in the importance of sharing and distributing what our lessons have taught us in ways that best serve the good of all. It is also time for us to search out new knowledge, lest we fall into repetition and intellectual stagnation. Imagination is a guiding principle of this energy, along with the initiative to combine necessity and experience for producing new, inventive solutions to the enticing puzzles in our lives. The curriculum of this card also contains the possibility of intellectual snobbery. This can seal us in our ivory towers as we judgmentally label others as our inferiors. Turned negatively upon itself, this energy can convert us into social recluses, hidden away from the public view and lost in our own dry world of facts and figures with no practical application. Instead of gaining new knowledge and insights, we can fixate on outdated information and archaic notions that rapidly crumble in the light of new discoveries and evolving theories. And I'm certainly glad that I read this section because it really parallels the discussions that we've had in several of our events recently and in recent times at the Institute for Spiritual Development. And that is, we are all clearly seekers. We are all curious about our spirituality and how it applies to our life. Many of us love to gather the knowledge that we get, to take more classes or read more books or take another seminar or listen to another podcast. But there's some point that all of that knowledge that we have gained has to be applied in our daily life. So we can sit in bed at night, we can be in our office, we can sit at our computers, we can look at our phones, at all of the things that we're researching. But at some point, this is about a real experience happening with us. The journey has to happen. Otherwise, the research will be all in vain. We have to be able to apply what we are learning in our daily lives. And that's not always the easiest thing to do. We learn that we are all one. We learn that we are from the source. We learn that we are all divine beings. Sure, we get that. We get that in our heads. But applying it, when we leave our house, when we leave the walls that protect us from the difficult applications of this idea, like when we run into somebody that we don't like, or when something annoys us about what's happening in our day, that's the time that this research can get applied. That's when we rely on all that we have learned to be able to apply it and move our own lives forward. Otherwise, we are just learning lots of really cool, interesting, really synchronous and magical concepts that just sit and get used in their most easy ways with everything that is easy in our lives. So let's meditate on this. Let's meditate on what we've learned, how we're applying it, and where we might go with it once we learn it. So as we always do, we are going to begin by paying attention to our breath and sit back or lay back, and now we can begin to totally relax and think about closing our eyes. I'm going to put the card up by itself so that you can relax and grab a quick look at it if you need to during the meditation. I'll move it over for you. So let's begin by just paying attention to the breath that is coming in and out of our bodies as it goes in through our nose and comes out through our mouth. And in and out. Breathing in and out. And one more time, in and out. And as our breathing returns to normal, let us begin to relax the body and begin to imagine that body becoming enveloped by the beautiful night sky that surrounds us. In this relaxed state, like a blanket that is illuminated with pinpoints of stars, just folding around us like we're being rolled as a burrito by the beautiful dark night sky and all the twinkling stars and as that blanket rolls us and comforts us, we feel the warmth of all of those pinpoints of stars. And how they begin to allow our bodies to just ever so gently become part of that night sky. We're relaxed more and more. More and more as our body becomes one with the night sky. Now one with the sky, we begin to feel ourselves as the sky expanding, opening, growing. The millions of pinpoint stars that we have become swirling, dancing their celestial dance, expanding more and more and more more and more. And in the quiet of this beautiful sky, as the stars twinkle to and fro, parts of us, yet separate from us, we feel so relaxed. We feel the comfort of the sky. We feel that we are no longer bound by any of our earthly boundaries. Instead, we are open and expansive and free. So free. And as we allow the quiet to just guide our thoughts, to guide our place, feeling relaxed, we begin to think and reflect on the card as we gazed on it, that ship, the story. How did it feel as we listened to the story? Did the words resonate with us? Did they make sense? Did we see ourselves as the professor who was diversified in all of our efforts, who had so much to do, so many activities he was responsible for? Was that who we saw ourselves as in this story? Or did we see and feel ourselves as a seeker? Like the student who had to find a way to get to his favorite professor and was successful in finding him and bringing him back. Showing the professor that in fact, he had learned everything he had been taught. And we know that as the professor, we learned from our students. We learned about our own success. We remembered that our endeavors and our own journeys have worked out exactly the way that they were supposed to. So as one or the other of these characters, or perhaps a bit of both, let us reflect on that journey that we know that we must make. Within ourselves, It's the journey that no one can tell us or guide us. We must guide ourselves to know ourselves. But we know that we have found the information that we've needed We know where we're going to go to prepare. We know where we're going to go to learn. And we know where we're going to go to reflect on the knowledge that we have gained. And we know where we're going to go to seek help or companionship on this journey. We know it's a journey that we must make on our own, and yet we know that its success depends on our ability to accept gifts and opportunities when they come to us. We just allow ourselves to know, to understand, to comprehend. And yes, to instruct others on how they can make their own quest, journey, exploration. We are relaxed. We are empowered. As the universe, as the universe, as the universe, we feel strong. feel alive. We feel magical. And as the sound drifts away, we allow all of that knowledge, all of that awareness, all of the instruction, and all of the gifts that we have been given to continue to nourish us with everything we need to move forward and to claim success on the journey. We have all that we need to then teach others how to make their own journeys. And we bless all of it. We bless all of it. And just as we expanded as we started, we begin to feel ourselves swirling, and all of the stars, all of the universe around us, swirling into us, coming closer and swirling more and more and more. The inky blackness, the twinkling stars, bunching like a tornado, coming faster and faster and faster, bringing all of our thoughts, all of our dreams, all of our hopes close, close, close. Until we feel all of those dreams, all of our gifts, all of our opportunities just become absorbed into our essence. And as it does, we begin to become aware of our breath yet again. And we realize our breath has held us here, has kept us anchored in our earth plane, has allowed us to make this journey together. And aware of the breath, we consciously choose to return, kind of hopping a ride with it as it brings us back to our physical selves. And with our eyes still closed, we'll take our first 2 breaths, inhaling and exhaling, and inhaling and exhaling, and one more deep breath, inhaling and exhaling quickly. And as we do, we open our eyes, find ourselves in our earth space where we left ourselves. And as we do, we become aware of how our body feels in this space, We feel the tingles. We feel the energizing. We feel perfect and whole and complete from this journey into the cosmos, into the beautiful space above us, below us, around us, enveloping us like that blanket. And as you begin to return fully, just feel everywhere from your toes all the way up through your legs, your calves, your knees, your thighs, your hips, your torso, all the way up. Just feel it begin to come to life as you pay attention to that breath entering you. Feel the health and the warmth and the exuberance and the gentle relaxation of this beautiful summer's evening. And I do hope you've enjoyed our time together and the journey that you were able to take. Again, we use these cards the third Wednesday of the month so that we can begin to explore our idea of spirit, expand our idea of what spiritual beings might be. Spirit, extraterrestrial, angels, aliens. Let's begin to imagine us as part of this entire universe beyond the earth with these beautiful cards that helped prompt some of that imagination. Again, if you're on YouTube Live, please remember to hit like and subscribe always, as well as joining us again for our future meditations. Next week, we're back here again for our fourth Wednesday of the month. And then the following Wednesday, on June 30th, we return to another new tradition, our spiritual screen share, where we share the screen and watch the episodes of a beautiful situation comedy that also deals with a lot of beautiful philosophical and spiritual concepts about who we are as humans. And that is The Good Place, one of my favorite shows. If you haven't seen it, we are watching it on Netflix. I think we've watched the first 6 episodes together, and just a joyful way to spend a summer's evening and explore even more of what makes us who we are. So go forth, have a beautiful summer's evening. I look forward to seeing you again. Again, I'm Reverend Robert Nashuk with the Institute for Spiritual Development in Washington, D.C. Have a great night, and we will see you again soon.